Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome this afternoon. I call to order the third meeting of the House State Government Committee. Madam Secretary, at this time, please call the roll.
Representative Bojanowski.
Here.
Representative Bowling.
Here.
Representative Bratcher.
Here.
Representative Chester Burton.
Here.
Representative Graham. Representative Heath.
Here.
Representative Heverin.
Here.
Representative Herron. Representative Hodgson.
Here.
Representative Puff. Representative Johnson.
Here.
Representative Maddox.
Here.
Representative Rawlings.
Here.
Representative Tate.
Here.
Representative Tipton.
Here.
Representative Williams.
Here.
Representative Witten.
Here.
Representative Imes.
Here.
Representative Hale.
Here. We do have a quorum today, and we are constituted to do business in this committee. Just a quick reminder to everyone on the committee and in the audience as well, please silence your cell phones during this meeting. Those on the committee that wish to speak, or if you have a question or comment toward the end, just raise your hand and the staff will recognize you for your question or comment. Please direct all questions through the chair if you don't mind. And remember to turn on your mic and speak into your mic when you are commenting or questioning and recording your vote. We have one item on the agenda today, and that is House Resolution 57 that is sponsored by Representative Richard Heath. Representative Heath is already at the table. Representative Heath, would you please at this time identify yourself and your guest that is with you as well, and then you may proceed.
Thank you. My name is Representative Richard Heath. I represent District 2 in Mayfield and Graves County. And I have with me today my fellow representative, and I'll let her speak for herself.
Representative Rebecca Raymer, District 15.
Thank you, Representative Heath. Representative Raymer, for being with us to present this House resolution. The floor is yours at this time, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing a line of people that are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants in this country. I never thought I would be quoting the words of former President Barack Obama, but on this topic, I'm in agreement. The time has come to stand with Texas and urge our federal government to reverse course on the southern border. House Resolution 57 simply urges Governor Andy Beshear to step up and support the efforts of Governor Greg Abbott and the state of Texas as they fight to secure the border with Mexico. This is a matter of national security. We've got to stop passing the buck. Last year alone, Customs and Border Protection reported more than 2.4 million encounters with migrants at the southern border. That's more than half of the population of the Commonwealth. Customs also reported that more than 7 million migrants had crossed the border since President Biden took office in 2020. Each and every illegal crossing is an opportunity to smuggle in drugs, engage in human trafficking, and allow terrorists easy access. Mr. Chairman, my colleague has some additional information.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. You know, I just want to add that this is not a partisan issue. This is not political theater. This is a true, sincere urging for our governor to state his support of Texas. Our border security should not be partisan. I mean, like Representative he said, it's a matter of national security. We're not against immigration. We just want the people coming over here to be documented and come through legally the way that is set up. There's laws on the books, and we want to abide by those laws. In December alone, there was more illegal migrant crossings than any other month in our nation's history, and it is time to secure our borders. So I would just ask for a motion to approve this resolution.
There has been a motion, and there has been a second. Is there any discussion on this specific House resolution? Representative Bojanowski, you are recognized to proceed.
Thank you. If I may ask a question.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I just want to understand correctly. What you're pledging support to is Governor Abbott's decision to disregard the ruling of the Supreme Court. Is that correct?
What we're asking for is supporting Governor Abbott in his efforts to secure the border. I don't want to get into an argument about Supreme Court or Constitution. We just want our border secured. And I support Governor Abbott in doing just that.
May I speak on the bill?
Yes, ma'am.
So, our president and a bipartisan group in the Senate are coming close to a deal on immigration reform. That is the most conservative reform in a generation. But the presumptive presidential candidate for the Republican Party is telling members of Congress not to support any immigration agreement with the White House because he wants it to be a campaign issue. As I read about this proposition from the 25 Republican governors, I'm reflecting on the oath I took that I would support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth. And I don't think that we can discuss this resolution without having a discussion that Governor Abbott is intentionally defying a ruling of the Supreme Court. And that violates our rule of law and could impact actually our democracy as a whole. I don't disagree that there needs to be reform regarding immigration, but I think that supporting a governor who is not following the guidance of our Supreme Court is a slippery slope. And if we're going to go there, there's at least one ruling that I'd like us to reflect on from the Supreme Court, but that's another story. So I think Kentuckians are smart enough to realize that this resolution does nothing to help the federal government respond to immigration at the border, which, again, is inherently a federal power.
Representative Heverin, you may proceed, please.
Thank you. Representative Heath and Representative Raymer. And I want to make sure I'm understanding. When I was having a conversation with a few of our colleagues yesterday, because I was asking what was going on, I think it's very important for us to know what's going on at the federal level too, but there's a lot going on in session, so it's okay to ask your friends in the House to see what's going on. And so what I've understood is that this is actually a really big deal because there are only a few times in our nation's history where the president has asked the National Guard, which is the National Guard is ruled by the state. The governor's in charge of the state National Guard. Correct? You can nod your head.
Correct.
And so there's only been a few times in history where we've actually had the president have to come in and say the National Guard. So it's actually more of a states' rights issue is what I'm understanding. Am I wrong in that? Is that this is kind of why the concern's being brought up because it's a states' rights issue?
I would completely agree with that, yes.
Yes. I would agree with that. It depends on how you look at the border. Some of us look at it as an invasion. They're coming across in such large numbers. This isn't just illegal border crossing anymore. This is an invasion of our country. And when that happens, then there are some state rights that come into play.
And I would just add, the hope would be that Texas would work along with our federal government. The federal government would work with Texas to secure our border, and it would be a joint effort.
Thank you. Just one more comment to follow up.
Quickly.
I appreciate that. I want to make sure there's a lot of rhetoric around, and no one's right or wrong on this. I just think it's important for both sides to be talked about. It's not just a federal campaign issue or anything like that. It's also making sure our constituents are educated on the issue. So thank you very much.
Representative Herron, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I do have a question and just really wanted to speak a little bit on the bill, and Representative Heverin just mentioned this a little bit. But are you all aware that currently our Kentucky National Guard has been serving on the borders for several years here, our Guard from Kentucky?
I was aware of that.
Okay. Well, just for folks who don't know, and this is where my concern lies with this resolution.
Would you like to ask another question, please?
I would like to speak on the bill.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Currently, 7 of the Kentucky National Guard units comprise over or compose over 849 soldiers, have been serving on the southwest border since 2020. And they have been there supporting civilian law enforcement agencies. And nowhere in this resolution has their service been recognized. And so that is very concerning for me. And so I just want to take this opportunity to thank our National Guard, our Kentucky National Guard. I want to thank them for their service, as the governor did back in October when he awarded them with the governor's outstanding unit of citations. And the 7 units who were represented and given those citations were HSC 147th Maneuver Engagement Brigade, C Company, 1375 Aviation, 2112th Transportation Company, the 149th Engineering Company, the 130th Engineer Support Company, Headquarters and Headquarters Detachment, the 198th Military Police Battalion, and the 617th Military Police Company. And I think that if the intent is to ensure that we at Kentucky is supporting, I think, one, that we're doing that. And I just want to make sure that we are lifting up our servicemen and women who are doing that work currently. Thank you.
Representative Tipton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a few comments about the bill. And for the members or citizens who may be watching on television, I want you to understand that House Resolution 57 does not carry the force of law. It does not, will not be written in any of our statutes. It is simply a position statement by the members of the House of Representatives. That's all it is. And I'm here today to support this because I know that the citizens who I represent in House District 53 in Anderson, Spencer County are very concerned about the safety and security at our southern border. Now, what happens on the Texas-Mexico border does impact the citizens of Kentucky. So I think we have to have a strong voice on this. We can get in all kind of arguments about politics, about immigration reform. Both parties have not passed an immigration bill because both parties have used this for politics. It's time we get beyond that. We have to secure our southern border. That does not mean that we don't stop legal immigration, but I am very concerned. If a foreign military force was crossing the southern border into Texas, we'd probably have people volunteering to go down there and secure a border. We don't know who's crossing our border. We don't know what their intent is. I remember September 11th, 2001 very well. I know exactly where I was when that terrorist attack took so many lives. And my fear is that we're going to wake up one morning and we could have a series of these attacks all across our country. It's time to get serious about this issue. I applaud your efforts. It's just a statement encouraging our governor to send a resolution of support. That's all this is. Thank you for your efforts on this.
Are there any other questions or comments? Yes, Representative Heath, you may respond. Please go ahead.
Thank you, and I appreciate the comments, and I appreciate our servicemen and women all over the state and the country and the world standing in harm's way for us. I wanted to draw your attention to page 2, the second paragraph of this resolution. The authors of the U.S. Constitution made clear that in times like this, states have a right of self-defense. Under Article 4, Section 4, Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3 of the U.S. Constitution, because the Biden administration has abdicated its constitutional compact duties to the states, Texas has every legal justification to protect the sovereignty of our states and our nation.
Representative Chester Burton, you are recognized, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. I do agree that immigration reform is needed, but I also believe that we know that the U.S. Constitution, there's a policy with the U.S. Constitution, and that to lay this at the feet of the president and our governor, I just feel like it is a political ploy and also disingenuous. That's all.
Thank you. Representative Bratcher.
You know, I know for a fact that there are people that are going through the legal system of immigration and they're waiting up to 10 years. And they have people here that will support them, take care of them. And it's just, it doesn't even, unless you're a direct family member, it doesn't even pay off to even try because it's so cumbersome and the backlog is so long. But then people just jump over the border and then they come into society, and most of them are good people. We deal with them every day. We know we do. And they're good people, and they're just wanting a second chance or a first chance at the American dream or whatever America promises. But it's just a shame that you do it the legal way and you're penalized. You do it the illegal way and you're pushed to the front of the line. And it's a disgrace. And anything we can do to establish a reasonable border, and I don't care if it's the governor or the president, I don't care what party it is, somebody has got to fix the border down there. And I'm glad that Governor Abbott is taking a stand on this, and I'm glad we're supporting him today. Thank you.
Representative Hodgson. You may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to speak on the bill.
You may.
We can discuss a lot about immigration, but I think the simple fact is that the Texas border is being invaded by military-age males from foreign nations that are hostile to the United States. It's very clear under the Constitution that every state has the right to repel invasion when the U.S. government that's charged to protect every state from invasion fails to do so. And I think that's what we've got to focus on here today. It's not a political debate. It's not an immigration debate. It's the fact that Texas is being invaded and we are supporting their right to defend themselves under the Constitution, and we would like our governor to do so. Because in effect, Kentucky is being turned into a border state by these actions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Are there any more comments or questions? I would like to add, thank everyone for your questions, your comments. I want to just make a couple of things referring to Representative Tipton's comments. And I want everybody to understand this again, and he said it eloquently. This is not a law that we're passing. This is not something that is going to go into statute. This is a recommendation. This is a resolution from the Kentucky House of Representatives that we support what the governor of Texas is doing. We certainly, as one of my colleagues said, we do appreciate the service of our Guard, our National Guard members. But to imply that this is some kind of a political ploy or statement that we are trying to do here today, in my opinion, and speaking as the chair of this committee, I think it's actually a travesty that we even have to have this meeting today, that we have to come together to ask our governor to support thousands and hundreds of thousands of illegal people coming across our border. And the governor of the state of Texas has the backbone to stand up and say, I want to do something about this. And the Biden administration does nothing about it. And for our governor to just sit on the sideline and do nothing, to me, is certainly something that I think we must speak up for the citizens of our state, which have contacted us and let us and ask us to do something to support the state of Texas. So having said that, I'm in favor of this resolution. I thank everyone for your comments and your questions today. Seeing no further discussion, Madam Secretary, please call the roll at this time.
Representative Bojanowski.
Yes, I'd like to explain my no vote.
Yes, ma'am.
I would assume that our governor would pledge support for the bipartisan immigration legislation that is going through our federal system. And it's kind of ironic that one member said that immigrants need to come through the legal way when, pending your definition of what invasion means, Governor Abbott is not following the legal way and that he's neglecting to follow a guidance from our Supreme Court. Thank you.
Representative Bowling.
Yes.
Representative Bratcher.
Yes.
Representative Chester Burton.
No.
Representative Graham, Representative Heath,
Yes.
Representative Heverin, Representative Herron,
No.
Representative Hodgson, Representative Huff,
Yes.
Representative Imes,
Yes.
Representative Johnson,
Yes.
Representative Maddox,
Yes.
Representative Rawlings.
May I make a comment?
Yes, sir. Quickly, please.
The governor's actions, I understand, are all within federal law. They're all consistent with federal law as it is today. So my vote is yes.
Representative Tate,
Yes.
Representative Tipton,
Yes.
Representative Williams,
Yes.
Representative Witten,
Yes.
Representative Hale.
Yes. There are 16 votes in favor, 3 votes opposed. The motion carries, the motion of the revolution, 15, is that correct? 15 in favor, 3 opposed. This resolution passes and should pass favorably on the House floor. Thank everyone for your time today. We are at this point adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.